Welcome, Sanjeev ji. This is a session that we had planned for a while, only for the learners, users, and entrepreneurs who are in the courses and who have been the first cohort or the first batch of Sanjeev Kapoor Academy. So great to be talking to you again about the questions specifically sent to us by the groups. And I can see your background's beautiful. I know you're not in Mumbai right now, so if you could just tell people where you're working from today. This is unusual to
Thank
see
you.
such pleasant backgrounds.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kinner, and thank you, people who are joining in. And I'm sure it is not only going to be limited to people who join now. I'm sure that we will be posting parts of it sooner than later. We will decide where. But yeah, so thank you for joining, and you can ask me any questions. You could ask Kinner also, who's from Nourish Academy, with whom we are partnered to do Sanjeev Kapoor Academy. So thank you, Kinner, and the entire team. Where am
I
I
I
now?
was
Yeah,
so yes, where you are, if we
yes.
can just.
I am actually in Mahabaleshwar. It is about 6.5, 7 hours drive from Mumbai. So we came here in the afternoon, and I was hoping that all the internet and everything, while we can get the backdrop, we can get the air, we can get everything, but not always that support is the best. But I'm glad it is. Yeah,
Amazing. So pleasant to see this, and thank you so much for finding time even while you're not working, at the moment from Mumbai. So I'll jump right away into the questions. By the way, you did mention that I can also answer, but I was so scared when I looked at the kind of questions that were coming. I don't know anything about most of the stuff here because we come from the world of tech and online, and people are asking stuff about nutrition, recipes, businesses. So I am more of a facilitator today. I took this task, and when I looked at the question, I was like, I hope nobody asks me anything. Um, so the first question that we want to take is from Padmini, and she's talking Padmini CK. She's asking about how do we calculate the nutrition value of what we are serving.
great question, Padmani. Very, very, very good question. Because in today's day and age, it becomes very difficult for people to know how much are they eating. So I think that's a very, very good question. So what I will do is, while there is help at hand nowadays, there are many tools, there are many apps you can find on App Store or on Play Store, or just simple thing on internet. You could do that. But I would say that basics, one should know basics, that where do the calories come from, what is the nutritional value. So in terms of nutrition, if we were to say, then there is one thing, what are the nutrients we should know, right? There can be one full session only on nutritional value. So I'll try and answer it quickly, just scratch the surface of would be. So in terms of nutrients, I would say there are carbohydrates, there's protein, there are fats, and there are minerals and vitamins. So these are the primary nutrients, if we were to say. And people say that, oh, that's one part, but I also want to know the calorific value. So maybe I'll touch upon a little bit on that. So calorific value is the energy that is needed to burn anything that you eat, right? So that's what the calorie count is. And so I talked about, so there are three main nutrients: so carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, which contribute to the calorific count. So carbohydrates, no matter what carbohydrate you eat, uh, so 1 gram of carbohydrate largely would be about 4 calories, right? And protein also would be 4 calories, whereas fat, 1 gram would be 9 calories. Now that is the key you have to understand. So let's say if you had 1 teaspoon of oil, let's say 1 teaspoon is 5 grams. So 1 teaspoon is 5 grams, and that's 5 into 9 would be 40 consumed from 1 teaspoon. If you had 1 tablespoon of fat, which is 15 grams, then 15 nines are 135 calories you would have consumed. Now, in terms of 4 calories coming from carbs, fruits and vegetables have carbs. Largely, there are carbs, and there are other nutrients also. And everything, even things that are high carb, also have small percentage of fat also. But people say that why are fruits and vegetables good? You may eat so much because there is so much water in that, and water does not have calories. So fruits and vegetables, while they'll be high in carbs, there is so much water that the overall calorie count goes down. And so anything which has high percentage of fat would be high calorie. And in terms of calories between carbs and proteins, it's 1 gram is 4 calories. So in terms of calorie count, both are similar. But what you should do is you should try and have 50% of your daily calories, if you can get from fruits and vegetables, that will be fantastic. Now that's a great thing. And fill half of your plate with fruits and vegetables. That's the way to start. Okay, all meats. That's how it is. And the best way how to know that is whatever you're eating, a pen and pencil or on phone, write down, see how much in terms of weight. And if you're eating anything from a packet, that packet will also give you nutritional value of what you are eating. So, what is the quantity, what is the weight, and what is the calorific count or nutrients that are there? You'll have to multiply. Now, I know it is cumbersome, but start doing it, start getting into it. And over a period of time, it will become intuitive. You'll come to know, you will understand. It'll be simple that, oh, a medium apple is about 100 calories. And of course, what all it is good in, as I said, fruits and vegetables are high in water, right? There is very little fat in most fruits and vegetables, unless it's avocado, right? That's high in fat. So there's just a basic scratching the surface, as I would say, because we'd love to take more. Maybe we'll do a course only on nutritional values. Subha says there is no audio. Oh, okay. I think maybe you need to check at your end, Kiran, and other people, Sanjay Arora, Bomani, Santu Roy, all of our Masumi Chakrabarti, Ankita Jaiswal, Seema Kolde, Nits. A big hello to all of you. Thank you for joining, and feel free to ask any question. There are some questions that people who have joined the courses have already sent in, but I'm sure that you still can send in more questions.
So I'm going to ask the next question. Thank you so much for addressing the first one so well, and I think it was quite deep. So the next question we have is Savita. Savita is saying that it's very competitive to start a new business, specifically in the food domain. So how do you market your food while keeping your costs low?
Amazing, fantastic. I think just to think about that, you're setting up your business in food, especially from home, and you need to market. Now, that's just the thought of it is a battle well begun, I would say. Now, how do you keep your costs down? Now, the best way when you're doing something from home is start with your family and friends. Make them your ambassadors, right? That's the best way to do it. And don't feel shy. Marketing, when it is, normally what people think that people will come to, no, 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 no. It does not happen like that. Biggest of brands have to advertise. They have to tell people, right? But there's so much money that goes into it that when you start, what do? You knock on any door, you whatever WhatsApp groups that you have, whatever you are doing, start posting in a responsible, don't spam their inbox, I would say, but people who are close to you, your family and friends, speak to them, seek their help, make them your brand ambassadors, and ask them to spread your word. Now, normally in food business, which is normally it would be fresh, short shelf life product, your area of reach would not be too big. So what you would be doing is in your neighborhood, right? So in that neighborhood, the best way is that you can go. So let's say you are living in a colony or a society. Get a list of all the members of that, and try and reach out to them through WhatsApp. Is a very effective. Make a group on WhatsApp. Make a specific group, even if it starts with 5 people, does not matter. Okay, whatever you're doing, create your offering, that what you're doing, create some uniqueness in that, and share that with the people, and be consistent with your approach. It's not that don't do it one off, and keep on increasing your area of influence. Make your area of influence big. Be consistent with me. Be creative in your sharing your in your information and your product, and keep topicality in your product also. Food, there is season. So if today with this kind of a weather, you say that okay, I have made some makki di roti sarson ka saag, and I also have made maybe black carrot kanji, right? Very topical, and people emote very well. And you may have 20 other things, but put this on the top, talk about it, and people emote better with the seasonal things, regional speciality. So what is your specialty? But keep that in mind, and keep on making your area of influence bigger. Make this group bigger, and sooner than later you will see, you will probably reach 100, then 500, 1000, and if you reach 2000, well done. You won't have to look beyond that. Then it'll that's the first magic number is 1000. How do you do? There's lot of effort that will go in it, but consistency in effort, creative effort, using your friends and family as an influence, and little bit of spending on Instagram, and use social media. Be on social media. Yes. Sorry, I am assuming that you are there. Be on social media with your product, with your offering, and if you want to test, spend a little bit and see what is the return that you're going getting. And you can start by allocating maybe just 100 rupees, and then see what is the return with that. And you will see that within a week or two, you'll start to get results which will be very encouraging.
Thank you. That's amazing, and I consider social media marketing to be now purely spend based, unless you have a community. So we see it on and off. In fact, regularly with people who are selling well in the digital domain, is that unless they spend, they rarely start getting returns. And as long as it's a few hundred people, the social media platforms kind of tone it down. But
Yes,
as you grow, then you can do more. So
correct.
here, I just got an idea, and I think this is one of the biggest questions that people ask. So, and this is a request to you. Maybe in the future, you could consider building a course specifically for how do you market a food business. And I think this is becoming this is the entire crux of running a business, because marketing becomes one of the biggest challenges. So I maybe in
Actually,
the
you're right. It is a specific, in-depth knowledge on that is needed. We'll have to work on it and create a course.
maybe in the future,
Noted.
your
Yes. Point noted.
knowledge would be super useful, because
Point noted.
great, thank you. So I'll bring the next question on the screen now. It's Somrata Mustafi Sabui, who's saying that. So this is a longish question, but for some reason on the screen we can show a part of it. There's a word limit here. So she's saying, what preparations can be done beforehand so that the fresh food can be served?
Sure.
Now, I think she's trying to ask, and then added on to that question is, and what is the shelf life for half prepared food items?
Sure. Very good question, Samrita. So this is what professional kitchen do. They do preparation in advance. Preparation in advance, there is a French term, and this is what we were taught when we were studying. It's called mise à plat, which is preparing, doing the preparation advance ahead of time. So any recipe that is there, then what can you prepare in advance? First, make a list of what you're going to prepare. Second, do the shopping. All can be done ahead of time. Then do the prep. So if there is some vegetables, then can be cut and kept in refrigerator. Cut them ahead of time. Keep them in the refrigerator. Depending on the recipe, you will have to break down the recipe. See what can be made ahead of time. So let's say there is dahi bhalla, right? Bhalla can be made in advance, kept in deep freezer for almost a year, no problem, right? So frozen shelf life is very high. Things that can freeze well, you can prepare ahead of time and freeze. Things which are fresh and you have to keep them in refrigerator. Couple of days is quite okay if you're keeping in refrigerated temperature, 4 to 5 degrees. Most things would be okay and they still be fresh. Most I would say. If there is any complicated sauce, gravy which can be reheated, anything which is high in moisture, right, can be prepared ahead of time. Anything that will lose its color or texture should be done last minute. So things that can freeze well can all be done ahead of time. Things which are complicated, which can be kept in a refrigerator, half done, cutting, chopping, all that is fine. There are things that you can. So let's say you have to make a tikki. You can make the whole preparation of it. Frying you can do last minute. Okay, and till last minute you can keep it in refrigerator and you can do that frying last minute. So it will depend on each recipe, but it's always a good idea to think about it because otherwise last minute cooking, last minute finishing, doing everything last minute puts too much pressure. You're getting married, and then last day you think that, oh my God, I want to lose weight. Oh, my hair is not done. I have to go to the parlor. I have to do. No, no. There are things that can be done. Weight loss can start 3 months, 6 months in advance. Hair can be last minute finish, but cutting and all that will have to be done. Maybe cleansing can be done 2 days. So shopping, getting all stitching and everything. So think cooking also is like getting ready for a wedding. Maybe getting ready for a wedding every day.
Thank you. That's such a nice touch. I mean, I hope nobody gets into that situation of getting to a wedding and then realizing stuff like that. One thing I'll highlight to everybody watching here that most of the questions that we are hearing today are from the course that is on how to start a food business from home. However, we are going to also address some questions in the other domains, which are the two other courses that are on the platform right now, which is restaurant style dishes from home and immunity boosting dishes. So we have lesser questions also from those domains. But the second thing we have decided is that there's going to be somebody from the team of Sanjeev Kapoor Academy, somebody who's got tons of experience in the domain. Maybe you can highlight more about that, Sanjeev ji.
Sure.
They'll address questions in an elaborate fashion, and that those are going to be maybe a longish session that we'll organize very soon.
Sure. So the idea here is that we these are the first courses that we have launched. We want to make the courses, the experience, everything better. We want to give more knowledge. We want to people who have joined. We want to make sure that they learn more and more. And there are recipe related questions that are there from the courses. Now, what we are going to do is senior chefs from our team will get into each recipe in detail. If there is any question, you can post that and we'll have dedicated sessions which will plan, and you can ask them questions in advance. And each recipe, whatever, if there is something, there is any doubt, or you tried something, it did not come out the way you thought it would, right? all those things can be done. Maybe we will do that in, we are still thinking that do we do that in smaller batches? How do we do that? So even for us, it's early days, but I can tell you our intent here is to make sure that the experience of anyone who joins Sanjeev Kapoor Academy is that it should be useful. So it's I would say that thank you for being the first people on this academy to join, and it's always they are the most precious lost. I would say it's like the any school or a college, and so we are from the first batch of this. So you people are the students of the first batch. So uh, we will make sure that we give you everything more that you ask for.
Thank you. I'll bring the next question up, and I'm sorry, I'm just quickly. There are so many. I think if we were to go for a few hours, they won't finish. So I'll try as many as we can address. So this is a question from Abhishek. Are food carts a good franchise business idea? How do you show value in that business for franchisees?
Lovely. Food carts are a great franchise idea. So it's not just the cart; it's the food idea that has to be franchise worthy. Selling on a cart, if it can fit in a cart, if it is so efficient that a cart can cater in that, then I think it's a great idea. I have thought about this. And I've told many people that, especially when malls were getting very expensive, when retail space in malls was becoming very expensive, I would suggest people that start carts in, and because you can keep them outside the cinema hall, you can keep them in passages, but then you have to have product which can be finished a la minute. So it could be something like a softie, it could be something like an ice cream, could be steamed corn, could be so remember, anything that is franchise worthy needs consistency. So back end of that is important. So it should be something where you are you have the ability of giving consistent quality. So depending on the product, if you have a product which can be consistently made and delivered and finished at the last location in a cart, carts are great, low cost, and smart idea. Not many people are doing that in food. Internationally, there are brands on. So you would say you would see in Middle East there are many shawarma who do that on a cart. In New York, you would see hot dog as a concept on cart is a big concept. So yes, it's a good idea to do this. Highly franchisable.
Food carts are lovely. The ones that I remember from New York, the specific word, it's not shawarma. I think they call it something else with or marinated in oil for the night, and it's just amazing. It's super unhealthy, but but amazing.
Right.
So I'll bring the next question on. Mrs. Rashmi Govindan, she's saying, is there really an opportunity for a healthy food business, or only junk food businesses will survive? So I didn't know this was
Oh,
the question coming.
yeah. So I've uh, I've been saying this for a year that for years that India is a country where we talk salad, eat samosa. हमें बातें सैलेड करने में अच्छा लगता है बट खाने में समोसा अच्छा लगता है. But having said that, I would say through this pandemic and because of this COVID, uh, there's a lot of information on healthier foods. I would say premium healthier foods, the consumption has gone up. So there is definitely an opportunity, but it'll be small specialty niche in the premium segment, not on the value segment as yet. So if your market is premium, you should be able to do this healthy food business. And going forward, I'm sure that it'll only get better. So good thing is that it will keep on getting better. The share will keep on increasing. The growth will keep on increasing. So while it may be small now, it will only increase. Good side.
Great. So the other question is, how does sorry, I'll have to just kind of, this is a longish question. I don't want to cut it. So I'll just recite it. How does a small home food business manage scaling the business while managing production speed and quality? And this is Rohit Verma who's
Right,
asking this question.
right. Yeah, I know that this is a real uh, problem. That how do you? So that's what makes home creating success out of home business complex. That's why you have to be a great juggler. That's why you have to put many hats. You have to learn to keep the cost down and learn many skills. So because you don't want to add additional costs. While everything, if you have the luxury of spending, then you can hire. You can hire talent, you can hire a marketing agency, you can do everything. But when you don't have that luxury, when you don't have that, then you have to put many hats, and you have to put more effort. And the best way again is take take help of family and friends. That they anyone who starts that, so don't be shy of asking for help. So I remember that when I quit my job and I started my own business, I used to operate from home. I had one room which I had a computer, but that was also when my parents came in, they used to sleep there, but that was my office also, right? And so my wife would help me, and I got my brother who was a chartered accountant. I would call and I say, okay, could you help me with this, with billing, with all of this. A friend of mine who was working in a PR agency, I asked him ideas on PR. I asked another friend who was a marketing guy how to do that. So you have to get any help that's available. uh, Take that. Don't be shy. So let's look at this. And there is always an effort. There's always an effort, and it can be frustrating. I'm not saying that it's bed of roses, but any knowledge that's coming your way, find time to take it. See, what happens is when opportunity or any learning is there, if we are lazy. So let's say a message on this course went to everybody. Not everybody may have joined, right? Now, what I say is, oh, I know everything. One, two, no, I don't have time. Three, I don't know whether it will be useful or not. But there could be one or two or three things that can be very valuable, right? So same way, uh, putting many hats, juggling, hard work, taking help of all family and friends is the first step. And can you run away from that? No. That's And let me tell you, it's not only when you are starting small or from home. So look at this scenario. We started this academy. It's new for us, right? And what am I doing session that I'm doing with the right? So I'm finding time for it. I'm not in Mumbai. I've come to Mahabaleshwar, and my family is with me. They're all enjoying, but I'm working, right? If I want to make value in the academy, then I have to give that kind of time. So I say that spend get the learning from all your family and friends. The first step, and once you have done that, you will see that there are more opportunities that we.
I'll jump
Anything,
on to the next.
Kiran? Anything you want
No,
to
I
add,
think good.
Kiran?
I agree with you on so many points. I keep learning myself, and that's where I volunteered that, okay, I'll ask these questions. So, one thing I can say here, of course, the commitment that you mentioned about, then beyond that, I've seen one thing with you is that your learning, the zeal to learn is just unbelievable. I think it's so rare to find somebody who's achieved so much and still is so humble to learn something new from, in Zen they say beginner's mind. You approach it like that and it's just unbelievably good, so you come to a new domain and you say that, okay, how is it done, not from a point where you say I know all. You come right from the scratch, from the point A. From a beginner's mind, you just unravel the mysteries and the steps one by one. And I think that's one thing that, if people bring to what they're trying to run a business with, I think that's, to me, I think that's one of the qualities that I learned from you and try to remember all the time. And I've seen this over and over in many entrepreneurs that I've seen to succeed, small businesses or large businesses, is that they're constantly learning and experimenting with new things. So just my 2 cents there. I feel a bit
Fantastic.
hesitant adding anything when you are adding something. So trying to
No, no,
move to
no.
the
Please
next
do.
question.
Please do. Yeah.
So I'll bring the next question on screen. So this is Ankita Ahuja asking, how do you ensure consistency of what is being cooked day in and day out? I can't be there to check every dish.
Oh, great question. Problem with everyone when they are doing business. If you cannot be there to check every dish, then you have to create processes. So that there's only you have to record everything, you have to write down everything, all processes, and then train people to replicate those processes. There's no third way. So everything, so if it's a recipe, then there has to be a standardized recipe that you have to create, write it down, and train people to replicate it, and then create mechanics of audits. Audit is something that random checks, and it can be normally food is something people who order, they tell you whether it was good or bad, right? They'll give you that feedback. You'll come to know from reviews, you will know from people who are ordering. So it's a easy thing, but before that, create standardized recipes, and not just recipes. There should be consistency in the so what we call a standard purchase specification for everything that you're buying. So there are SOPs we build for everything. It's a standard operating procedure that's there for that we do. It is tomatoes that you are buying in a kilo. How many tomatoes should be there? If you're making a makhani gravy, it should be ripe tomatoes, and in a kilo 15 to 18 kilo 15 to 18 tomatoes is good enough. You don't need tomatoes because they'll be expensive. You don't need tomatoes which are used for salads, again they'll be expensive. You need overripe bright red tomatoes which are not big in size, so the cost comes down, but you need to standardize that, so that every time you buy, you're buying that. People you're buying from should know what are they expected to sell you, and that is the expectation you have to create. You have to share that with people. It's like at home, when people are buying things, roti ke liye yahi aata hum lete hain, this is what the roti is, and you would say this is the brand we use for rice, we use this biryani rice we use. So everything, make sure you are buying right standard things you are buying. Then you create standard recipes for them, and then you train your team. Then you will not have to check, but still you should check, you should review and see if there is any variance, good or bad. So at times what people make a mistake, that if you have set a standard and you have a team who has created something better than the standard, so what should you do? Don't go on to the better thing till you have made that a standard. because everything can be bettered, but people want consistency in. So to keep that, it's whatever the standard, even if it can be bettered, unless it's a standard, do not implement it. Okay, so that's something I would say. There are many things I can add, but yeah, start with this. It's a good start.
I have a quick one here that I could
Sure.
highlight. Is there's a great book that I read. It's called The Checklist Manifesto by
Hmm.
Dr. Atul Gawande. So he talks about how checklists, something as basic as checklist, has saved millions of lives in the airline industry, in the medical industry. So I think
Yes.
one of the keys that we could use here, it's such a simple thing, and I've seen they work wonders. So maybe read that book and start posting checklists at the buying table where people take out money to buy stuff, at the cooking table, so that they're just making sure they followed the SOP highlights. SOPs are extremely important, and then maybe the encapsulated form. So it's a quick one there.
So
Uh,
what's the name of the author?
Dr. Atul Gawande. He lives in New York. He's
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
surgeon.
Atul. Of course, Atul Gawande. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah.
Atul Gawande. Okay, okay.
Wow.
Yes,
So
yes. Great guy.
great book.
Yeah,
It's a great book. He's
yeah.
written another one called When Breath Becomes Air, or something like that. That's just come out. I haven't read that one,
Yeah.
but Checklist Manifesto transformational actually. So I'll
Great.
bring the next
Thanks.
question on screen. Seema Sachin, I don't know how to pronounce the last name.
Kode.
Kode. Please.
Kode is yes,
Okay.
from Maharashtra,
Yes.
definitely.
Please
Yeah.
suggest options to replace wheat and wheat products, as I'm allergic to it.
Oh, lovely. So I had a big session. I was speaking. I was a panelist at the Celiac Society. Ishi Khosla, who's the president, and Dr. Tom O'Brien from session, and it was all about wheat and wheat products. People who are allergic to it, or gluten allergy, as we say. So I can tell you, my mom is allergic to gluten, and what we have done is, wheat की कहाँ जरूरत होती है इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, रोटी में पड़ती है, ब्रेड में पड़ती है, केक्स में पड़ती है. टुडे देयर आर मेनी ऑप्शंस, और बिस्किट्स में पड़ती है. देयर आर मेनी ऑप्शंस इफ यू आर बाइंग स्टफ फ्रॉम मार्केट. You can buy gluten free things, but especially at home, what we have found is that we use a few things. Let's say चावल चावल की रोटी, चावल की भाकरी, चावल के आटे की, एंड रेड राइस की भी की रोटी भाकरी जो है बहुत बहुत अच्छी होती है गर्म पानी में, जिस तरह से, बिकॉज आई कैन सी दैट शी इज नाउ इन महाराष्ट्रन सराउंडिंग्स. जैसे मोदक के ऊपर बनती है, सो चावल के आटे में गर्म पानी डाल के उसको पकाया जाता है, एंड यू मेक दैट डो द लिटिल बिट of oil, and the rotis come out. Same thing you can do with ragi or nachni or finger millet, what we call. You can use jawar, you can use bajra, you can use amaranth, you can use kuttu ka atta, you can use quinoa ka atta. All these things are gluten free, and you can use them for making chapati, roti. In fact, we use now many millets, we use, and we don't miss wheat at all, and we enjoy, because all these bhakris, they are very tasty, all these rotis are very tasty, and even not that we need to replace it, but dosa also that we make with ragi.
I'm moving on to the next one now. This is a question from Parveen, who's
Your
saying, "What are?"
audio is not yeah.
Can you? Is it okay now? Sorry
No, but
about
I can
that.
read the question.
Oh,
Yeah, question is from Parveen Verma. What are some of the best practices for managing and optimizing the costs involved in the food business? Very, very important thing to uh, for. I think just the thought of cost. is the best practice, I would say. Just thinking about cost, that you have to you should be mindful of cost. Now, cost is something which people think that cheap is better. So let's say on food cost, if you were to say, always the cheapest thing would be best. What's the so I gave an example of tomatoes for makhani gravy. Not the most expensive tomatoes would be best, right? Same is the way if you were making khichdi, you don't need to use most expensive rice. So buying has to be right. That what is the purpose that you're going to use anything, and it's not just food product. It is what you are going to use cleaning material. What is the light that you are using? What's the uh, uh, refrigerator size that you're using? What's the capacity of the mixer that you're using? So right product, right sizing brings in best efficiency. So efficiency is a great tool for keeping your cost. So any wastage, and it's again not related to food, time wastage. So in when we are taught to save our steps. Wasting steps is a very bad idea. Which means if you're going, let's say within the kitchen, you're going to the refrigerator, and maybe you can there is something that you want to keep in the refrigerator. But if you're going to the refrigerator, think that do you need something from the refrigerator which you can bring in now. It'll save steps, and also it'll save energy. You will not open the refrigerator twice, and you did that. This is saving cost. You saved energy, your energy, and you saved electricity. So it's saving on both front. Which so also best practice. I say, I'm a banker's son. I say this: whatever you use, whether it's your time, your effort, whether it's your rice, electricity, water, charcoal, whatever you use, packaging material, convert that into money. That should be on top of your mind. You should understand that, am I able to quickly convert that into money or not? So we may think that my total cost of gas is, let's say, a month, 1,000, let's say, which means what that means it's about 30 to 35 rupees a day. I'm just saying hypothetical number, right? Which means if I am doing it for 10 hours in a day, it means that it is 3 rupees an hour. So once you get a sense of all costs, no matter how small, you have to get a sense of it. Once you get that sense, then the best way is to focus on something called 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule is so in terms of in food business, we say that if you have to manage food cost, then your 80% cost of food would come from only 20% of the ingredients. Focus more on them. Spend more time, more effort in controlling that cost. Not the most expensive. Saffron may be the most expensive cost in your cupboard. You're not, if the overall monthly cost is not contributing to the 80% and it's not in that 20% list, you don't really need to worry that much. So I would say, if I were to break it down, uh, understanding, breaking everything into money, one. Two, no inefficiency, no wastage, two. Three, doing the 80, applying the 80-20 rule. And I'll repeat it again, that 20% of the things that contribute to the 80% of the total cost, focus more on them. And that's it. And you will say that the cost management would improve from where it is now. Again, this is such a this is again a course that this is my strength. Actually, cost management is my strength. But
Is it an idea for another course then?
yeah, but yeah, it's I don't
we
know. I'm
yeah
not
we
yeah.
we
I come from
will
bank. family. My brother is a chartered accountant, father was a banker, so I understand this very well. But yeah, most people don't think of cost, and they only think that, oh, this is what I sold and this is what I bought, and there are many other hidden costs, and they don't even calculate that. So don't do, and especially their own costs. Cost your effort. Cost your effort.
Amazing. So you're good in maths too. That's another.
Oh, I'm not good. I'm very very.
Wow,
So
amazing.
before I did when I joined before I joined uh, hotel management and kitchen, I was not sure. People said I'll go to IIT. I didn't want to do that. But I just was not sure. I said, "Chalo, kahin to kuch admission le lete hain." So I took admission maths honors in St. Stephen's.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. Right?
Yeah,
That
but
shows then. Wow,
yeah.
wow. So great. I'll bring the next question on. S. Balaji is asking, how do you ensure spice balance when cooking for large volumes? What's the math there?
So maths is the same. Maths is the same. It's just that in larger quantity, when you do, there are so recipe. It really would not change. If for one portion it is X, for 100 portions, it will be 100X. People often say, tell me, नहीं बड़े में change हो जाता है. Actually, नहीं change होता. It does not. Few variables that can change. So, for example, you are cooking in a pan which is deeper, and let's say water moisture loss is less. So, cooking time may change. Cooking time will change, and it will not be 100x. Water quantity would not be, because the evaporation rate would not be same. But otherwise, spice would not really change. So that's something. If everything else, the weight of the portion size is for X, one portion is 100 grams. Even
We are losing you there. I think for some reason the video is frozen there. So I'm just hoping it comes back.
people, and they are taking some data from me. Yeah. So maybe you're causing some
Your signal is back to strength now. I'm seeing there's a fluctuation in your signal. Um, no, it is frozen. Well,
taking away some.
sorry, there was a signal loss at your end. So we had you frozen for just a few seconds there. I
So
hope
I
you're.
didn't say anything worthwhile. I didn't say anything worthwhile. Let me tell you.
Sorry, so I could see the red mark on the signal bar. I think it just went off for a while, but it's back now. So sorry to kind of interrupt this. I
Lovely.
thought I'll have to.
No, I think yeah, yeah.
So
Then
I'll
probably did not say anything. Uh,
we can. It's just a bit frozen right now.
but
It's going a
audio
bit
is okay.
slow.
Audio is okay.
Audio is okay. Audio is okay. So let me just bring up the
Yeah, let's see.
second.
Maybe we can shift only to audio. As I said, that these are things that at times are unpredictable, no matter what we say. Yeah,
Yes. So
it's yeah.
I'm bringing the next question. Maybe we do a quick rapid fire now. So I'll take
Sure,
off myself from the screen, and I'll let you handle the questions quickly as a rapid fire. We just have a few more minutes left,
sure,
if that's okay. Yeah. So I'm bringing you full screen here.
sure.
Um, okay. So how does one start a cloud kitchen business? What kind of investments is one looking at for this?
So cloud kitchen is a kitchen that is you don't know where it is. You can start, that becomes your cloud kitchen. That's it. So depending on what's the inventory of the products that you want to sell, you want to keep. I would say that you can easily start if you're starting from your home. You can easily start lakh, which would mean some packaging material, some inventory of stuff, some licensing cost, because yes, you need, even if you're starting from home, you would need the licenses and you need that spend. But with ease, you can do it from home, or you can buy, or you can gala. But you really as you scale up, you start spending more money. Uh, Start small. Don't be ashamed of starting small, and you'll be surprised that your home kitchen, you cook for 20 people, 25 people party. You can do it at home also. So, but if you have already gone past that, then I would say that start from a small place. And in terms of professional equipment, there are many places in this pandemic who goes down. Try and find if you can find second-hand material equipment, and test what way they test. Don't invest too much to begin. And once you're happy, once you know that there is consistency in your business, you can market well, you can do everything, then start to invest more. So yeah, you got it at a very, very low investment. You can easily start a cloud kitchen. So I can see this question, Kinnar, from Divya. I run a small kitchen. People ask for different things. Should I listen or stick to my menu? You should. People will keep on asking more and more and more and more. Stick to your kind of strengths, I would say, and only do things that you can do well consistently. People will get used to it, and in that, bring in some newness, bring in some topicality. In session, I talked about that. Maybe do a monthly, maybe just 3 days of specialty, and on those days just do specialty. Then don't do other things that you have. But do not, I said it 3 times, make a list of things that runs into a menu which runs into many pages. Stick to your strength. The limit not be we make Indian content, Chinese, when we do birthday parties, office. Specialists, specialists in today's day and age is better. Keep to your specialty strength. That is the best thing to do. Listen, but do what you're good at.
Great. I interjected. I am going to run it like a rapid fire for next three
Sure,
more minutes.
sure.
Jumping on to the next one now. So, Joydeep Roy, what do you think is the prospect of a food critic career in India? It's off track from the other questions, but this is, I think, still a good question to answer quickly.
Yeah, I think prospects are good if you're good with what you do. You can any expertise is good, and food critic. Remember, social media has made everyone a food. So you'll have to compete with many, but that's a good sign, because that means there is more respect for a specialist there. So yes, there is a good prospect, but be good at it.
Great. The next one, Saurabh is asking, everyone's taste and spice choices are unique. How can small businesses figure out the final taste?
Yeah, so best is that start with your taste, with the checking with your family and friends what they like most, and arrive on the market that you are catering to, and then they will start to tell you, and then work on the lowest common denominator, and stick with it. And maybe
Great.
little bit of you can give. थोड़ा मिर्ची का पैकेट देते हैं ना पिज्जा ज़्यादा मिर्चें खानी है, ये counter.
Thanks. The last question that we'll take quickly is Vidyarai asking, I would like to know about pilferage by staff and wastage percentage to let go.
Nothing. There's nothing. There should not be any tolerance for this. Treat your staff well. Hide your staff well. Treat your staff well. Make them your part of your family. They should feel that you think about them, you care about them, and they will look after you. They will not go on pilfering, and wastage would minimize. So work on hiring right people with right attitude, so that you don't have to worry. The right people. That's the best way.
Great. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. I will just take one last question, which I didn't put in the main question list, but I think it's relevant. So, a lot of learners want to know what is the future of the academy from the point of view of what all they look forward to. What are the things that we are thinking about? And I wanted you to highlight that.
Sure. So naturally, the intent is to do serious work on this. Is to teach culinary, bring democracy in that teaching, and create opportunities for people, not only at home, but create opportunities at restaurant level, hotel level, and other industries level, so that monetization of culinary can be broad based for people at large, which is a great opportunity for people, create more employment through that. So that's the bigger goal for us, and that's what we are working on. And the intent is to work on creating more employment through that, more employment opportunities, and also we are looking at creating health-based courses. So create courses which will make people healthier. So these are the two, I would say, in near future, that's the focus that we are working on.
Thank you so much. I would just like to highlight, in addition to what you've just mentioned, that our goal would be that we would entail all kinds of activities, questions, and bring in more experts from the group, as Sanjeevji mentioned, senior chefs and other people. The idea is we would want to address as many questions, doubts that you have, and go deeper and deeper. And we are learning. We will keep getting better at interacting, providing more information, more documents, additional content. In fact, we are planning a lot more. So thank you so much for to the first batch, as you mentioned, for being the first group of people to be in the academy. And thank you so much, Sanjeevji, for taking out time for this. From the holiday, I'll connect with you soon. And to everybody watching, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kiran, and thank you everyone who joined. Thank you very much. Enjoy the
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.